Maybe the best podcast.
Maybe the best podcast. Maybe the best podcast. Yo, we taking off. We taking off.
That's the one.
Oh, man.
Maybe the best podcast.
Anyhow, welcome to Maybe the Best Podcast. This is episode 33. I am Bro
33.
Diddy.
We repping the 33.
Yeah, man. Hot dad back in the building.
I'm 33. You 33.
Yeah.
I'm not 33.
Visual director. Not 33. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm all right, man. Y'all hear me a little nasally. It's all right. But I'm good, brother. I'm had a good week. Fast week. Looking forward to the weekend and everything like that. So got a big weekend coming up. Is it me?
No, you on. I just don't remember what mic you got because, like, when you down. So I got to make sure I get you back up. That's all.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, my week was good.
Cool, man. Visual director Bay, thank you for filling in for Lulu.
No problem.
Yeah. How's your week?
It was good.
Yeah?
Yep.
Anything new? Anything special?
Nope.
No? Cool, man. Well, I went to go see J. Cole last night.
Yes.
How was that?
We did.
That was pretty amazing, man.
Yeah, it was.
Really?
It was really
Like
good.
I wish that the concert wasn't still happening, because then like I'm not sure like how many people like truly listen to us or where they're from and if he'll be showing up, so I wouldn't want to like drop any spoilers, but I thought it was a really, really dope show.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that J. Cole surprised me. Like I didn't think he was that great of a performer. Like I won't even say good. Like for somebody that has nothing but himself,
Right.
he did an excellent job, like entertaining, captivating the entire crowd, getting the crowd participating, and just keeping everyone engaged throughout the night. I thought that was fantastic.
Wow.
And I really thought the way he came to the stage, like
that was great.
To me, that shit was amazing.
I had to record it.
You recorded it?
Yeah, that was the only part I recorded.
I didn't record
Sorry.
a single part of the concert.
That's what
I
we
wanted
do.
to just.
That was the only part I recorded because I was
Yeah.
so impressed. I was like, I have to get that.
I did take a picture of like the set of like Anderson .Paak set before he came out, and then that was it.
How
I
was
hope I
Anderson
saved it.
.Paak set?
Anderson was dope. Like he started off on the drums, then he did his singing, a little bit of dancing, very light dancing, and then was like back and forth on the drums. So I thought Anderson did a great job. I don't know that his music per se has caught as many people as I wish it did yet. Cause like
He's probably crazy out there on the West Coast though.
I bet. I thought I think I have to go back and like truly listen to Bass's catalog, because he opened up. Well, I guess Ari Lennox opened up the show, but no one saw her. So I don't know where the hell she performed, but
We didn't get there late either, so.
yeah, we got there on time. So I don't know where the hell she performed that she opened the show.
She's probably in like selected dates, selected cities.
No, she was there.
She was.
Yeah, she came on stage with him for a song, but we didn't see her.
Oh, it's weird.
Yeah.
Why did this concert sneak up on me? Where was I? Because I seen it like leading up, and it was like, yeah, I got J Cole tickets for sale, and it's like, J Cole's coming in town.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. I'm just waiting.
Because I got
Travis
tickets
Scott.
in April.
I'm just waiting.
So, and I knew
Yeah.
about it prior to that.
I think that's what it is. Like if you have an idea of an artist that you really want to see and you plan on seeing them, then like you just kind of tune everything else out. Because I know people that like are so amped up about the upcoming Bruno Mars tour in October that like they was like, J. Cole, nigga, I'm waiting on Bruno Mars.
Right.
I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Bruno, that dude. So a lot in the news, man. Do we start in like the news or sports news? Like where do we start?
It seemed like nowadays everything is the same thing.
Oh, okay. No, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, you only got one earphone in,
Okay,
one
but-
earbud in.
But I can hear you and I can hear me.
Right, but I'm closer to the ear that don't.
But I can hear you in here.
Whatever, man.
It seems like all of it's one and the same these days now. It's like you can't talk about sports without talking about social issues, and you can't talk about, and it should be like that. I don't think it should be separate. You know what I'm saying? We always said that, well, sports is an escape, and maybe that was always the issue.
Are you sure that it shouldn't be separated? Because I mean, Jermichael Finley thinks so. I mean, athletes are role models, and therefore they should just shut up and play football.
Because that makes sense.
Bro, I'm like, that makes absolutely no sense to me, Jermichael Finley. Like, if these athletes are role models and people look up to them, well, shouldn't they be the one? Shouldn't they have the voices that you would want to hear? Shouldn't they speak up on social issues? Shouldn't they speak up on any issue that is relevant and could ultimately change the course in a positive manner? But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like what Kevin Durant said. I like the statement he put out. So,
what statement did he put out? I missed that one.
Yeah, he just basically, big up, basically said it kind of echoed what you said.
Okay.
That, us as players, them as players and having that platform, should speak out, and that he, shout out to all his brothers in the NBA, that are speaking out in sports, period, that are using the platform in the stage to, speak on social issues.
Yeah.
When you got the voice, and you got the opportunity, fortunately but unfortunately, music and sports, are the two platforms where we have to voice the most.
Right.
And we don't take advantage of those, so it's kind of weird.
And
we used to. That's the funny thing. Like, sports was socially conscious. With Jim Brown and Arthur Ashe and all these guys, and then even music. So it's kind of weird how it flipped.
Well, I wonder now, because I think everyone has been so brainwashed that, Jermichael Finley's comments, as off base as they were, it's not the only time we hear comments like that, where they're like, well, a musician should just make music. A football player should just play football. LeBron needs to be dunking a basketball and nothing else. It's like, okay, so that's their profession. That's how they earn their money. That's how they make their living. So that is their focus. I get that part of the argument. But if you're saying that we should be listening to these other people on these matters, well, what qualifies them? What is their profession? Because there's no professional social influencer. Like when it comes to politics and race, like, is a politician a professional at having an opinion on these things? Because really that's all they get to have is an opinion. I think the country should be ran this way. I think this policy should go this way. And you can enforce it, but what makes you a professional at it? You know what I mean? Like, there's not enough studies, or there's no school you can go to that makes you a professional politician. You know what I mean? These are the laws, these are the rules, and everything else is opinion. Even the laws were put into place based on opinions, and it's very subjective. I don't think there's a lot of objectivity when it comes to a lot of these rules, because they were placed a long time ago when I guess the objectivity was fuck them niggas.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or fuck everyone that's not in our social class, because I don't think it was just intended to suppress the voices and the lives of black people. I think it was
at that time, and then it
at that time,
enter others.
Right. So if there's no professionals to speak on this, then everyone should be entitled to speak on this. And now you can tune out, including athletes, and you can tune out whoever you want. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm not going to take Donald Trump as the president of the United States. He holds the highest position in the United States. Am I supposed to now listen to him just because he has that title versus anybody else when he's never been qualified to do this to begin with? Right?
I agree.
I mean, the highest position in the land is put in office on a popularity vote-ish, because he technically lost the popularity vote. But the way the system is, he won a popularity vote, and now he gets to be deemed a professional on these matters. I don't know that makes sense. I know that it doesn't make sense. But what's your feelings on this Charlottesville incident? Or it's not really an incident, but I'm gonna call it a tragedy.
Visual director Bago first.
You can go ahead.
I mean, it's so many. Which one? I mean, as far as just the incident itself, the casualty that was lost, the insensitive comments from the president after. I mean, gosh, I don't know, man. This is what I'm saying. Whether it's in the hate or not. Okay. What we have to understand, whether it's us as a people or people that don't even subscribe to white supremacy, period. And I want to talk about, the non-white races.
Okay.
And how they can improve race relations in the country. But with this being said, a week prior to this, we were divided on if we were going to watch a game or not.
Right.
Okay. In the meantime, there was a group of people that were conjuring with no division what they were going to do. Now, you seen the strength of white supremacy between the police and these group of people. And they say, well, if that was black people, they'll have this, that, and the third out there and everything like that. But see, white supremacy is so strong and deeply rooted in our system that if you holds them, you probably hosing a senator's nephew.
Mm-hmm.
You probably hosing a governor's son. Oh, we gonna leave, it's too dangerous. Ain't no it's too dangerous. Y'all motherfuckers was told to get the fuck up out of there. Nah, don't touch them. That's what that was. And then you hear David Duke and him, for those that's not in the know, he is the leader of the Ku Klux Klan, which, by the way, they put out this bogus stat about separatist groups saying that there's only 130 KKK chapters, but there's 193 black separatist groups in the country as of 2016. Like,
Right.
this is whacking and controlling the narrative at its finest. So, but then Donald Trump comes out and goes, oh, both sides. Both sides did what?
Right.
What did both sides do? Because I seen a brother getting his ass whooped by some poles. I seen a group of people get ran over.
Mm-hmm.
So you tell me who did what? Who did what? But nobody is coming at this man neck opposed to just, oh my gosh, I'm disappointed in his comments. You know, you got to come at this man neck and say, how dare you? You know, and shout out to all the cities. You know, Baltimore quietly took down their Confederate statues. Hillsborough County, it was like, nah, we not doing that. They joint statements, I think, with the Marlins and all of them taking it down. But you know, at the same time, we have to understand, man, this thing is real and in our face again, showing you what this supremacy thing is all about.
Yeah.
Whether it's sports or politics. That's the funny thing. It's going on simultaneously right now.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think the events that took place in Charlottesville are extremely disappointing. Like, I'm not even mad because, you know, we've become so desensitized to these types of events in America in our lifetime. And I don't think that's necessarily fair, especially considering what our parents and our parents' parents and, you know, as far as we can think back, you know, they've had to deal with so much worse, and we thought the worst was behind us. Our parents definitely thought the worst was behind us, and I think it's a matter of, you know, maybe it went into a slight hibernation. You know, maybe they had to rebuild and reinvigorate their hatred. But it's back and it's full-fledged, and it's very disappointing because, of course, our elected president, our sitting president, number 45, Donald Trump, first he comes out, he says, well, you know, both sides need to take some blame. And then the next day he comes out and then he completely condemns white supremacists, KKK, neo-Nazis. He said all hate groups. But then the next day he comes out full of fire and is like, nah, fuck that. Both sides got problems. And that's the real Donald Trump. You know what I mean? The prepared statement the day before where he condemned all these hate groups, it's like, all right, it's very presidential. It was the first time, and I thought there was a little bit of hope, and I thought, you know, maybe it's sitting in this seat where he's exposed to so much on a daily basis. So many things has to cross his desk, and he's never had to deal with this level of emotion from the entire nation before. You know what I mean? I know he hasn't. He's never led in any political realm. I mean, he owns a business. He's an entrepreneur, so I'm pretty sure he had to deal with some minorities. But it was like, nigga, you at the bottom of the pay scale. I can get you out of here and replace you with another Haitian, Puerto Rican, whatever that's looking for a job, another foreigner that needs a position, another black guy that's willing to scrape gum off the bottom of the floors just to put their kids through school. So he never really had to care about other people. So I'm thinking, okay, as the president, man, he's starting to maybe care a little bit. But then he comes back out and he's Donald Trump again. He's just Donald Trump. So With him being in office, I don't know that we can expect much else. And when you have the David Dukes of the world and other leaders of these hate groups applauding Donald Trump, you know what I mean? Like that, there is no condemnation
And
for
him not denouncing it.
Right, there's no condemnation at all when you say, well, both parties involved, because no other group, especially black people, we don't get that benefit of the doubt, right? When we can show video of an unarmed black person being shot by the cops, even if the news came out, and they would be wrong to do this, but even if the news came out and say, well, hey, there's blame to be placed on both sides, I would appreciate that a lot better or a lot more than the news posting my picture up from that one time I had braids and I looked really scruffy. And then the first thing they pull up is, you know, when he was 17, he got caught stealing CDs from Best Buy. What the fuck does that have to do with today's events? You know what I mean? But that's what happens to us. We don't get the benefit of the doubt. But a hate group can come out and be screaming, white lives matter, Jews will not replace us. These anti-Semitic comments, it's okay, right? They get to practice all of that. We can't practice anything without being condemned in the media. Like, we're always judged in the media, and then if we, Lord forbid, we get in the system, if we get in the system, we're fucked, because they're going to judge us very harshly. I don't want white people to be dealt with the way we're dealt with, per se. I want us to be dealt with the way they're dealt with. Give us, if we live in a country where the judicial system says innocent until proven guilty, I'd like to feel what that's like. You know what I mean? But instead, it's guilty until proven innocent, even when you're the victim. That's fucking disappointing. And I'm hoping for change, but obviously change doesn't happen unless we actively go out there and create it. It's just, realistically, what can we do? And that's really not rhetorical. Like, I'm really curious. What can we do to change the course of our nation? So, Charlottesville, before we carry on.
Basically, what you both kind of said, because I was listening to podcasts, and they were saying how same thing, that like they can speak out and they can do as they please, and they don't really have consequences, and they do have like people to support them. But if other groups were to do even like something peaceful, there's always like the cops are there in a non-supportive way.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's fucking it sucks.
It sucks.
And
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, before we end this and to end it off, in my opinion, when you say improving race relations, it's two things that non-racist white people can do.
Right. You started that, so I did want to hear that.
One, have to acknowledge that their privilege is real.
Yes.
And that they are going to use their privilege to help race relations in this world. What they say, white silence is white violence.
Yes.
The problem is
100%.
the ones that are silent.
Yep.
So to transition into the second thing, which is speak up. See, if you went just as hard as you did in Charlottesville when you swung on that white supremacist as you did at your job, to your coworkers, on your social media, then it won't look like we're complaining.
Right.
This, respectfully, is why the civil rights movement got moving. So what I would say is that is what needs to start happening on their side.
Yeah. I would agree, man, because it does. I think it even puts, when you say if they spoke up, then it wouldn't make it always seem like we're complaining. I think we've been pushed. There's been so much resistance against our progress that when things go wrong, sometimes we feel like, man, just eat it. Because if you say something about it, you're going to sound like a whiny little bitch. And I think that's very unfortunate because no other group is in that position. Any other group, when something happens, they speak up. They voice their disapproval, they voice their displeasure with what's taking place. And usually, if something can change, it will change. Sometimes, hey, this policy is set up, the policy isn't likely to change. All right, cool, but I voiced my opinion. But in cases where policies can change, they typically do for the other groups. And a lot of the stuff that we're asking for here in America as black men, black people, minorities, can be changed. It's not out of the realm of realistic possibility, so it needs to change. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. It's a such thing as black privilege too. And shout out to Charlemagne the God. I'm not even gonna flex right now. Shout out to him for putting that to the forefront, and I'll tell you why. Our friend Juan, when we was little, our privilege was full effect. We didn't get touched when he said the N-word. He was ran up out the neighborhood. But at the same time, we've also been in situations to where we say, hey, nah, man, he cool, he with me.
Yeah.
So, again, to end and piggyback off what you're saying, I think that's what for those that was confused, like, oh, well, what is he talking about use our privilege for good? That's what I mean. Intervene in things that you see is wrong. Whether it's profiling or you see somebody follow them around the store or whatever the case may be. It's things that you see.
Yep.
There are things that you see that you like, damn, man, that's kind of crazy. And by you doing that, it enhances it, and it's been enhancing it for years. You know, and I think that's what Jane Elliott did with her what is it, blue eye, green eye experiment or something of that sort. She took the ones that were silent. It's like, I'm not. And it's like, well, look, that's why I said from a respect standpoint, I respect the ones that are flat out with it.
Right.
The one thing I don't respect is that they're cowards. They're not like that at work.
Right. Look, man, for piggybacking off of you, we can piggyback all day. But I would liken Black Americans to adolescent children in regards to if an adult saw that a child was being mistreated, being molested, they would speak up on behalf of that child, right? Because that child doesn't have a voice. Maybe that child is too afraid to say something. You would speak up, or you would jump in and defend them directly. Treat us the same way, because you see the justice system doesn't work on our behalf. You see that we don't have the same voice as you do. So jump in and intervene, please. If you value us, if you're willing to get out there and say Black Lives Matter during the march,
it's an everyday thing for us,
right?
So it has to be an everyday thing for you.
We would definitely appreciate that. And then,
if you're really saying that that's what it's about,
right?
If not, then all right, cool, fine.
Yeah.
Like, we looking for extra help, but it would be nice to have that help. If you're in sales, they call it a TO. He come in and kind of back up what you said.
Right.
You got to come in and solidify that deal and close that deal, because the second person always brings credibility.
Yeah. So, help us, please. But ESPN did something this week that I thought was very tasteless, with the clip of them doing the fantasy football auction.
Listen, I'd
love to hear how you feel about that.
I seen it from Sean King.
Okay.
The writer for the New
York Post.
New York Post. And
shout out to Sean King. I love
shout out to Sean King, and shout out to my partner Ben on my Facebook. He thought that he was like, yo, I'm with you, with a lot of these things, but I think this is kind of reaching. And I'm like, man, the optics of this is horrible.
Right.
It's like, I've been in fantasy drafts at Buffalo Wild Wings where we're doing the same thing. You got your whatever, but if you've seen Get Out, that is almost the exact setup. And being that 70% of the league is black, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers is only going to be the only white boys in the top 20 probably in the fantasy draft. So it's like, yo, The optics of it looked really, really horrible, and I think some of us at ESPN should have caught that and been like, "Hey, y'all, I don't know about this one."
Right.
So that's how I kind of, that's how I kind of feel about it. Like, I didn't think what he thought,
right?
Because he put a real long dissertation on his Facebook, but I was just like, ugh,
yeah.
Like this looks super horrible.
Yeah.
This is one of those like, baby, it ain't what it looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
Was it like an animated thing? I didn't see it.
No, it was
people.
It was actual people.
Yeah, just like it was literally.
It was just like it was just exactly like Get Out.
The setup was just like
she fell asleep during
I was
Get
gonna
Out.
say I fell asleep. So
Now check this out. Now
he was in a sunken place.
Hey, do not listen to him stir that tea.
I got that there.
Oh, I was like, I remember that part. That part I remember.
Hey, but look, man, I've had a lot of people say, "Hey, y'all reaching. Everything ain't race related. Y'all reaching."
But why are they all white then?
That's the question. That's the biggest problem. I don't think that ESPN went out with the intent to do something stupid and racist.
They never go out with the intent
right.
to do anything stupid and racist.
Well, some people do, but that I was like, yo, this is just tone deaf. This is somebody completely not being in touch with what's happening in the world within the past couple weeks, past year, everything that's taken place for you guys to not even diversify your audience. Like, that was the biggest problem. You have a white auctioneer with Odell Beckham's picture up, and you auction them off to an entirely white audience. There's no people of color in this audience at all. And it's like, whoa.
I feel like you have to go out of your way to have only white people.
Well, I mean,
like
the ESPN studios is in Connecticut. I don't know what the demographic of people is. I don't know what the population is like out there in Connecticut. But I'm just going to assume that there's some black people. And I know that there's a lot of black people that work for ESPN, right? Not just the on-screen anchors, but there has to be some crew members behind the scenes, right?
Bro, listen.
That are of color. Put them in the audience, and it won't be as bad. It won't be bad at all, because then it's just a fantasy football auction.
Yeah, Asian people,
right?
Indian people, Spanish people.
But when you have zero
diversity, anything,
zero people of color, I'm not ashamed of what ESPN did. I'm more ashamed for everybody. I want to say specifically the black people that I've encountered on this issue that have given me resistance and like, nah, you're reaching, and I'm like, no. But even the white people, especially when they're like, oh, no, you guys are just taking it too far because that's not racist. The other things, maybe. But maybe. But that's not racist. I'm like, that's your white privilege won't allow you to see this. But, bro, if you had, I guess it couldn't be in reverse. We can never do this in reverse, and that's the problem. We can't show them how ill-advised that type of stuff is.
Yes.
And for Disney to be the parent company, I'm like, how did they let this go? Disney, ABC, ESPN. If this were MTV, maybe, if it's I guess MTV's not a smaller company, being owned by Viacom or whoever, but this company is way too big to allow something like this happen. You have Stephen A. Smith on your roster. You have Jamel Hill on your roster. You have Michael Smith on your roster. People that speak up in these types of moments, and y'all greenlighted it. Like, how did you not run it by them first? Like, yo, you guys think this is funny? And they're like, nah, not at all. Don't run that shit. Like, somebody should have, like, did they have a review period? Who put this shit together and who greenlighted it? That's just what I want to know. Like, how does that process work? Because if it's that easy to put out content on ESPN, I'll be quitting my job really soon. And so I guess this is my application. Please hire me. I have some content. I'm writing some scripts. I'd love to get that aired on a Disney channel. That'd be awesome. Thank you, ESPN. That's the camera. I was just, kind of. Shout
out to the camera. We in here. I gotta remember that we got the camera because I do a lot of stuff that act like the camera ain't on. So shout out to the camera.
Fuck it. That's what you said when we originally started.
Yeah,
the
I got
podcast.
live clips, man.
It was
we got
do
live
you,
clips. We got
right?
live clips, huh?
I said when we originally started the podcast, you said, "Hey, man, we gonna just be us. So you know what I'm saying?
it's
If
about.
sometimes I think it'd be great to forget that the camera's there and pick your nose, and you know what I'm saying? Like, if you eat your boogers, you eat your boogers.
Shout out to Bay in the back.
Shout out to Bay in the back. How you doing? You old cover thief. But this week we also saw Beast Mode sit out for the anthem. We saw Michael Bennett do it again, and Michael Bennett has announced that he's Michael Bennett is going to be sitting for the anthem the entire NFL season. And I think that's great. And now we have Pete Carroll, the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, come out and quasi-support. He's like, hey, look, I stand for the anthem. That's what I believe in. But, whatever you want to do, I support your cause. I believe in what he's sitting down for. And so you do you, basically was his approach. Same thing with Jack Del Rio over in Oakland.
I remember Jack Del Rio's. I read his quote.
Yeah, so, but did you see Beast Mode's interview?
I didn't see his interview.
All right, so he does a presser today, and they're doing a great job, man. Just kind of throwing him alley-oops, asking him about his charitable contributions in Oakland, and he just speaks so passionately.
Yes,
about
word.
those things, man. Like you can tell that Marshawn Lynch really loves the community. He loves his city, and he loves giving back to the city. So he took his time to articulate his thoughts perfectly. Every time they asked him about something that he cared about.
Uh-oh.
And then they said, well, the big elephant in the room is that you sat down for the the national anthem. You have any comments on that? He's like, elephant ain't in the room no more? Shit. I heard mice scare elephants away. They scared of mice, right? Some shit like that. I don't know. So they ask him more questions and they get back to the flag shit again. And he's like, well, sometimes when they call 24, like, what I'm saying, it's my job to like kind of read the play and then, make the best play from there. So that's just what I do. I just make the best play I can.
He's an asshole. I love it.
Yeah, well, you're going to have people watching you, people that look up to you, and you're going to be sitting down for the anthem, how do you address that? He's like, sometimes they call it out 74, and it's my job to, see the play and look left or look right and see what play to make, and I just make the right play. And like, he just, in a very cool, casual manner, he didn't give a fuck about their questions and was like, y'all ain't about to pull me down in that shit, man. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna sit down, y'all gonna see me, and I'm not talking about this shit. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do. Plus, he said he's been doing it his entire 11-year career in the NFL, and nobody noticed it.
And they were talking about, we got footage of him from 11 standing, and we don't have anything proof of whatever.
Yeah, we've talked about this before on the podcast that this hasn't always been a thing. You know what I mean? The NFL only rolled this out, some years ago when they were getting sponsorship dollars from the military, saying, hey, look, in an act of patriotism, what we'd like to do is give you this money, you roll your players out, they stand up, and that'll make all the other Americans want to do it too, because we look up to athletes. So going all the way back to the beginning, if athletes shouldn't speak on social issues, why would they be rolled out to spark this patriotism amongst Americans?
Because it's a social issue.
Right, because the reason why y'all doing this shit now on the regular and y'all complaining about football players not doing it is because football players started doing it on the payroll.
Right.
Under that payola.
Respect on the respect.
True.
As far as Michael Bennett.
Shout out Michael Bennett. Another great guy in his community.
Yeah. But we missed a moment to shake shit up.
When?
We missed the moment. And maybe that moment will come the first game of the season. But to really, really, really shake things up, we know what we should have did. I don't have to get into, anything. But we know what we should have did.
Yeah.
And saying you want to sit all year and everything. All right. But that's not really shaking shit up.
Yeah.
We seen the other day what shaking shit up is. Will we do that on the 23rd at the NFL headquarters? Will we be in those kind of droves? So
we'll see. We'll see.
Big ups, but we gotta be careful, man. We still see. This is what I mean by that chastising thing.
Yeah.
We got to be careful in regards to who, we giving people salutes and passes and everything like that. It's like, but y'all still playing, though. That's the bottom line, in my opinion. Like, I'm going to still ride with that, like, all season long, man. Like, bro, I'm talking about, I done did down to the, I don't say petty, but, like, just deleted NFL shit off my Bleacher Report. Like, I don't want no notifications, nothing. You feel me? Like, come on, man. And it wouldn't have took that long. Like, that's the thing.
Right.
It wouldn't have took that long. But the Morris Smith comes out talking about something 4 years from now. You know what he says? An NFL lockout is almost certain in 2021. Oh, really? So that's when you motherfuckers gonna decide to not play no more? We gotta wait 4 years for you motherfuckers to be like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Oh man, we in damn trouble. Trouble. All right, people.
And hopefully they if they're gonna wait that long, hopefully they use the time they do to make some legitimate changes to the policy in the NFL. But the NFL doesn't truly matter in the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean?
2021.
We have a lot of players in the NFL, and I think the reason why their situation is a little bit tougher, is because on one hand there is the legitimate issue of the owners and white America really not giving a damn, and not all of white America. Let me just say what Charlemagne the God said. Them crack-ass crackers. Because there's white people, and then there's crack-ass crackers the same way there's black people and there's niggas. Okay?
This is true.
So, them crack-ass crackers and them owners who fall in that category, they don't care about black issues.
That's a double entendre, though. Shout out to Charlemagne. Again, wow. 2 Charlemagne shout-outs. I'm changing in the world. This hot toddy, man. That's what
it is. It's that
delusional.
liquor. It's something in this liquor.
Oh, yeah.
But, ultimately, bro, I think there's that demographic of people that don't care about our plight and our problems. But then what Colin Kaepernick did inadvertently was because he sat and then kneeled for the anthem and then the showing of the colors. It created something different. Even though he came out and he said, look, I have nothing against the men and women who have served for our nation, the military. I love them. I respect them. I honor them. I appreciate them. A lot of other people can't see past that because to them, that is what the flag represents. You know what I mean? That is what that national anthem, like some people have a sense of pride. You know what I mean? Like you, at this point in time, if we talk about the red, black, and green and you bang for that, I know there's a sense of pride for you. You know what I mean? When it comes to that flag. And for a lot of black people, you know what I mean? Like there's a sense of pride that we have when it comes to maybe our name, maybe our family. There was times when we were growing up and you said, man, don't fucking talk about my mama, I'll beat your ass. Mm-hmm. Like there was a sense of pride we had about our mom. Like, and it was just words, but that's the type of love that we had for our mom's namesake. Some people feel that way about the flag and the national anthem. So then you do have these black members in the NFL that are like, I get what he's saying, but I'm offended because this means so much to me. And that's where, it kind of hurts Colin. So it's hard to say all these black members should stand up and stand against or stand up with Colin when part of what he was doing infuriated them as well. You know what I mean? Like I believe that we should see the greater picture, the bigger picture, and say, nah, fuck that. Yeah, the flag.
Part of what Cap was doing was infuriated who?
Some black people as well.
See, but that's the problem. It shouldn't have been no disconnect on that. Like
there shouldn't be.
I think I said this last episode, right? So it's like, okay, something that a little over 45 years ago that was a no-brainer,
right,
meets resistance. Man, that's that. I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's the powerful illusion of inclusion. That is the most powerful thing that white supremacy has on the black community. The illusion of inclusion. The moment it got to the point where certain people of our community was at the table or at the kiddie table behind them, or it's at least in the room, it started desensitizing us to the actual issues.
Yes. I would agree.
We gotta eliminate that, man.
Right.
You going through the same shit.
Yeah.
Like, come on now, Ray Lewis and all these other guys. All that talk, and we need to start with this C word. I'm not even gonna utter it on this platform, but that's not what that is. That's the result of the illusion of inclusion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, it ain't that bad, man. I know. Nah, man. It's so. This is why we're met with such resistance,
Right. And see,
amongst each other.
Even with me trying to play devil's advocate and seeing their perspective, I still believe that you have to see the greater picture. You have to see what Colin Kaepernick was fighting for. You know what I mean?
And that's what we all lost in this whole thing.
Right.
This whole thing.
You spoke on it podcast after podcast. Like, how did the message get lost? I don't think the message got lost. The message is being ignored.
Yeah,
it's not lost. It's being ignored.
It got buried. Like,
but like Jermichael Finley's wife, she sent out this long tweet, and she said, "Hey, look, for the sake of your 4 black boys, your 4 black sons that I have to raise, don't tell these athletes not to speak up on their behalf and on your behalf."
it's a
You know what I
damn
mean?
shame.
Because I have to worry about those 4 black boys. You should be worried about those 4 black boys, and they don't have the name recognition that you do. Okay? And I think that's what some of these athletes need to consider. Ray Lewis, you have to take in consideration that everybody ain't Ray Lewis. Everybody ain't a Super Bowl champion and MVP with a face and a name that can be easily recognized if you follow the sport. Some of these black boys are just black boys.
Right. And some of them
they look
got
up
a murder rap.
Right, and they look up to you. So for you to tell them, your issues are not a big deal because, look, I made it. Well, everybody ain't going to make it. I don't know what the number is, but I'm going to say it's much smaller than 1 in a million. Make it to the NFL. There's 53 players to every roster.
I think the average span is like 3 seasons or something like that.
There's 32 teams in the NFL, so that tells us there's a little over not 600. What's the number?
Would you say 50?
53.
Mm-hmm. By?
32.
About 1,500.
Yeah. That's a lot of players in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
There's, 500 million people in America? So, it's still less than 1 in a million get an opportunity to make it, which is a very, 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 very small percentage. It's less than 1%. They don't have these opportunities that you speak of. You know what I mean? Because you dug up out of the dirt. Well, what about everybody else in your family, Ray Lewis? What about, let me not just harp on Ray Lewis, but he's one of those names that came out, put his face
now
on
we're going to put him on the front line. Where's the white suit, Ray?
We know what a white suit is.
This is why you can't talk like that.
The white suit went to the cleaners. No one knows what happened after that, but they sent it to the cleaners.
This is why you can't talk like that, fool.
Look, man,
like you ain't been through.
But you know what? They got him out of it, and that's the thing.
That's what he owe him.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe there is a secret society out there that kind of buys up the black people that they want.
Oh, it ain't no maybe, bro. That shit is real.
Clean us up real good, and it's like, all right, cool. Now I need you to go right back out into your community and speak on our behalf because our voice doesn't carry, the type of loudness that yours does. It doesn't have the same impact as yours do. And I wonder if they tried to get my dog Marshawn, and my dog Marshawn was just Marshawn go Marshawn, bro.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's blatant or by just their actions, it definitely is that, man. That's why all my community activists, man, be careful, taking pictures with certain people and accepting certain things as donations and thinking they down for your cause, because all it is when they get ready for you to want to do something or speak on behalf of their agenda, they're going to do it. And if not, they're going to put the pressure on you and then try to dismantle. This is why I don't know. I'm thinking about a 501c named Me&3. I want to, Dame said something really quick, and I know this is off base, but it made me think about it. He said that if you're not working to leave something for your kids, you're selfish.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about it, and I want to do e33 Productions. I want to do 3 different. I want to do an organization, entertainment, and production, and I want to name them all e33, and I want to leave them to each one.
Okay.
But obviously thinking from the organizational standpoint, leaving it to all of them. But so anything that I do under that will be under the e33 umbrella. But I don't know if I should just officially make it, that, because it's a lot of red tape that goes on with that. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be restricted in nothing. So I'll do some research on it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, look, anything. Speaking on Dame, Dame said, when he was on with the Breakfast Club, and he asked him straight up, can you leave your job to your kid? If your kid needed a job right now, could you get him in here without asking anybody else?
If he said no.
Right. So you can't pass down your job. So, I mean, no disrespect to the people that work. And I know Dame was like, nah, you got to go out and be the CEO or else. There is no other option. There is some gray area. There is another option. It is not a bad thing to go out and get a job.
But even Dame, there's another, and I'm going to let you finish it, but there's another interview where he says, it's nothing wrong with having a job if you're using all of your disposable income towards your dream.
Okay.
He said the problem is when you just stay saturated in your job.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And so, I guess Dame corrected himself. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a job and working. And if you're uncertain of what you want to do in life, if you're uncertain about what your passion is, which I haven't been uncertain about what my passion is. I just haven't been bold enough to chase my passion. But while you're trying to figure out life, get a check at least. My nigga, go out and get a check. If you have to go work for somebody else and make them millions while you get a couple $100, as long as you are, trying to figure life out, trying to figure out the next play, just don't become content in this life, because there's enough people to do that. Look, and while I want to encourage everybody to go out and create an opportunity for yourself, I know that everybody won't, and that's a good thing, because if everybody did, then I don't know that my next plan would be as successful. But I'm hoping that some people just won't chase their dreams, and I think that's why I need to, because there's just so few of those that are willing to go out and chase it relentlessly. Like I'm about to be hurting. I think there's a strong possibility that I could be hurt and fucked up. But it's like I believe that I'm good enough that even if I fuck up for a little bit, I'll bounce back. I've always bounced back.
And I'm gonna read something to you.
Yeah.
Before we end.
I bet you read it on air.
Yeah, I am gonna read it on air.
Make it sexy.
I am gonna read it on air. But this is one of our issues, is that we're not willing to do anything that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Even myself, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not the first time you did something uncomfortable. You moved from a city that you were born and raised in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think we have to understand, in anything that we want in life, we have to be willing to be uncomfortable for a little bit. When we have our guest, CJ on next week, he's going to talk about that.
Okay.
In regards to, just having to live a certain way, to be able to get to where you need to be. Yeah. And I think that's just profound.
Absolutely.
In regards to just anything in life, what we do. So.
Well, speaking on children, man, and our future and everything that we are creating, and living for. First week of school, almost in the books.
Yes.
Tomorrow's the last day of the first week of school. How's everything going for the kids, man?
Everything is super dope. Jalea's in middle school. Yes. Jesus, and bro. She is loving it, man. She has 7 periods, 3 advanced classes. She's cheerleading as well. Yeah. My little man, he's off the IR. Well, he's not off the IR, but he said his arm's doing good. He's fine. But he was like, yeah, but the doctor says I still have to wait. But he loves his class. Jordan, she's good as well. So they just, they're ready, man, for another rock and roll school year. Straight A's all year. They get a pool party at the end of the year.
Okay.
So but they did honor roll all year last year. So they're trying to take it to another level.
Yeah.
They badasses. Shout out to my kids.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the kids, man. Question for you, man. As as school approached, I remember last week, I was nervous all week. You know what I mean? Because my son started kindergarten. He's in elementary school and he's in the public school system now. And I was nervous because I'm like, okay, my kid is gonna be going to big kid school. This is different. This is, mommy and daddy can't say, okay, we want to spend more time with you, so we're gonna take you to school late. We're gonna pick you up extra early. We're not gonna take you to school today because hell, I'm off, so you're gonna be off, so we could do something together. A lot of those opportunities kind of go away. But then, I was really just thinking about him and thinking, man, this is gonna be different for him. I don't know if he'll be able to adjust because I've sheltered him. Both me and his mother have sheltered him, and he's our baby. He's always been our baby. He will always be our baby, despite him saying, don't call me baby no more. I'm a big boy. So I was nervous, man. So I wonder, who's more nervous for the first day, first week of school? Is it the parents or is it the child? Like, what do you think? You got 3, so you've kind of been through this through stages, man. What do you...
It's always the mother.
It's always the mother?
Yes. Even though Jordan cried her eyes out when she went to kindergarten, man.
Yeah?
Cried her eyes out because transitioning from VPK whether it's small classes and it's more intimate, and she was, man, I mean, every time she walked through the door, Jordan, when she leaves, bye Jordan. So her used to that attention,
right?
Man, I remember walking her into school in kindergarten and she seen how big, and how everybody was. Man, that little girl cried her eyes out. But it's always, the mom that is, more than likely crying during the first day of school or, dropping them off. But I never was just like nervous.
I thought for sure I was gonna cry, bro. I was ready to cry. I was ready to go to school and cry. And unfortunately, just because of my work schedule and, my son having 2 homes, I haven't seen my son other than FaceTime. We FaceTime every day. But I saw him on the first day of school, took him to school, and he cried for a little bit. But then when me and his mom got ready to leave, he was just like, bye. You know what I mean? So like the tears kind of came and went pretty quickly. But so we in the classroom, we taking pictures or whatever. And Carter's working on some project or whatever that he has to do, like first day of school, write your name, color this, yada, 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 or whatever. He's working on it. And I'm like, all right, do a great job, buddy. And he's like, what, daddy? He says it in his voice, and my son's voice is the voice that's maybe the best podcast. At the beginning of the episode, he still talks like that. So the girl sitting across for him with her old nappy head ass, nappy head ass little fucking bitch. Yeah. She's like, and she mocks his voice. And she laughs and she taps the other girl and she mocks him again. And I'm looking, I shoot her a death stare. Like I have laser beams in my eyes and I fucking sawed her head off. And I'm like looking her in the eyes, like, bitch, you do that shit one more time, I'll fucking kill you. Like, and I think she heard me telepathically. She heard exactly how I felt. And she froze up. And Carter's like, Daddy, she's picking on me. And I'm like, you ignore her. You ignore her and you just focus on doing you and be great. Just be great, son, because you can't listen to people like her. And I'm like, this is the first 10 minutes of us being in the goddamn classroom.
That's terrible.
Why are kids so mean?
Kids are really mean.
Kids are super mean.
Like, that's not okay. And that's my boy. So I'm not going to be having that shit. Like, my son ain't going to be bullied, especially by no nappy-headed girl.
You sound like Don Imus.
Yeah.
What Don Imus at?
Like, for that moment, I felt like Don Imus would have been okay coming in that room and be like, yo, get your nappy-headed hoe ass up out of here. You ain't about to do that to Carter. Nappy-headed hoes.
I mean, you do have to deal with that. I've had to deal with, what I'm saying, that, situations, like that,
Is it okay to rough them up or tell their parent, like, yo, I'm going to fuck you up if you don't get it right?
Man, let me tell you something what my motto is. I fight people, kids. I don't play I'm a bus stop daddy. I don't play them kind of games. Obviously, like you said, my kids in a different home, so I'm not there to to do that. But I have another child in my life, and so it's the same situation. Like if it was ever a situation, I'm pulling up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm squaring up.
Like I
What's
had,
up?
my kids, man, when they was going to a certain school and they was walking to school and they had a problem with some kid, man, I seen them. Hey, y'all keep walking.
Yeah.
I gotta handle something. Especially when it come to school because of how we grew up, man.
Yeah.
That's automatic, man. That's gonna be no question, brother. Like that's why you reacted that way. It's gonna be no question. Like, hold up, hey, get it right, and hell yeah, you tell your parent, hey, we could definitely throw them things.
Yeah. Look, man,
you gotta straighten your kid straighten your kid.
I think it's okay. So PSA, for any parent out there, I don't want to have to talk to your kid. That's your job. My kid ain't no bully, so I don't want to have to talk to your kid because I'm gonna tell him straight up. Look, I'm gonna whoop your ass and go get your daddy. And if your daddy bigger than me, he can beat my ass. I'm gonna blow his motherfucking head off. I guarantee you that. Okay?
Don't be indicting yourself.
I'm down to do time about this, homie.
These videos.
Okay.
Hey, but it be that real though, man. Hey, you parents out there, man. Like, stop raising disrespectful ass kids, man. Yeah,
and it's gonna be some parent that, like, once we get this up on YouTube and like, well, that's the problem with the kids right there. It's that type of attitude.
Yeah.
I'm joking, only partially though. But like, check your kids because I'm gonna check them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When it comes to my son, man, I wouldn't want my son disrespecting your child, making it difficult for your child to learn and to grow and to develop socially. So don't allow your children to do it to my child or any other child in my son's classroom. Mm-hmm. Any other classroom, it can slide. Not in my son's classroom. Not in Miss Robinson's class.
I know that's right.
So
I know that's right.
You have something you want to read? Because I'm ready to go, man. I'm hot.
Nah, man, we're not gonna read that. That's a negative connotation.
You laugh so loud.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I see it pop.
Ooh.
Yeah, it popped really good.
What I do want to do, I'm going to end my part of tonight with saying, starting tomorrow, August 18th. First off, happy birthday to Marcus Garvey today, August 17th. But starting tomorrow, August 18th through the 20th, Marcus Garvey weekend. We got an open cookout. Hold on, I got to get on the live. We got an open cookout at Cypress Grove Park. That's for your GPS. For black people that don't know what I'm talking about, but that know where the park is, Holden Park. Okay? Cypress Grove, if for GPS, Holden Park if you already know what I'm talking about.
All right.
But come out, man. I'll probably be out there about 3. And perfect way to end the school week, as we were talking about.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that these cultural events, we don't even want to call them conscious events. These cultural events are not for kids. It should be for kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially for kids. So the 20th, man, we at the Denton Community Center with my brother Jay Wise, with Dr. Jahi Issa as well. The 19th, they'll be doing a spiritual ancient African spiritual cleansing at the beach in Daytona.
Okay.
But yeah, man, it's open cookout, man. If y'all want to come, vegan dishes are welcome. Vegetarian dishes are welcome.
Okay.
So, we just going to have some fun, man, for the people. And this is the first annual Marcus Garvey weekend here in Orlando, Florida, and we're about to do it. So shout out to 98.5 for having us on yesterday for the interview, Pine Hills radio station. So I get to post that clip now because we pre-recorded it yesterday, so they ran it today. Okay. So shout out to them for putting us on that platform as well.
All right, man. Marcus Garvey's weekend, the inaugural celebration. It is on and popping. Please show face if you can. Of course, like Twan D said, Holden Park. Y'all know where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're coming up Orange Avenue, bang that left on Holden, bang. It's right there on the left side. So shout out. I don't really know how the video is, but I'm going to say go ahead and follow me on that link right there. And that will be there. MTB Green on Instagram and on Twitter. Shout out to Shout out to people that have genuine love for one another, because all lives matter. But when it comes to love and progression, yes, all lives matter. But we need all lives to really recognize that Black lives are a part of all lives. So let's make sure that we help protect this species that will be soon endangered if y'all don't speak up for us, Miss. All you all livers out there, make sure y'all speak up on our behalf because
All
we need
livers.
it. Yeah.
Boy.
We need y'all help, and I'm not afraid to solicit the help. You know what I'm saying? Like, help us out here, man. We just trying to live. We trying to make a living. We trying to contribute to the communities as well. I'm not selling dope, and that's it.
I mean, well, motherfucker, I am. I am.
You got to sign out.
No.
All right, well, shout out to Lulu.
Shout out to Lulu for not being able to make it to the late night session tonight. Next week, we have our first guest, like official guest on the podcast. Would you say?
I think that's kind of fucked up because I think Chris Breeze from Amoy Clothing was our first entrepreneur.
You are so right. I forgot about
shout
brother.
out to him.
He gonna kick my ass.
Yep.
Sorry, Chris.
But you know what I'm saying? Shout out
Our
to Chris.
second guest.
Yes, our second guest, and I'm excited, man. Our first guest that's not a part of our family, because Chris is part of Chris's family.
Yeah, that's fam. That's
But,
probably why I said that.
Yeah,
That's
so,
probably exactly why I said that. It wasn't
You
this
had-
that fool. Forget that fool.
Your friend, when they were in,
it's all family.
okay.
But yeah, CJ, man, we're looking forward to having you on, and
Yes.
we'll break down your book, break down your business that you own, and we just want to show ownership at a young Black level, man, and just a different mentality. You know what I'm saying? He definitely will present a different mentality than the norm.
Absolutely.
So maybe the best podcast, episode 33 in the books. What's up?
Episode 33 in the third.
Yeah, man. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.
Maybe the best podcast.